What if you could help others to find the power to heal themselves? Physically, emotionally, and spiritually.
When I started teaching my classes, it was in 2002, and I was just doing the past life regressions and contacting the subconscious part. But then as the time went on and we found how powerful this was and what we could do with it, a lot of the students began saying, you know, advanced past life regression doesn't really tell what it's all about. This is so much more than that. We think you should change the name. So it was a few years ago we decided to change the name to Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. And this is the healing technique that we've now been teaching it, well, since 2002, that's 12 years.
What if you could time travel with them? Visit mythical places or angelic realms, other worlds, other galaxies. Help others to speak to their higher selves. You can. Dolores has taught thousands of people from across the world how to use QHHT, and now you can learn her method by going directly to dolorescannon.com. And don't forget to mention the discount code MORETALKS. Have you ever wondered, can you communicate directly with spirit guides, teachers, or non-physical consciousness, or even our higher selves? What would they tell us? My name is Kevin Moore, and since 2015, I started to practice a form of communication which is termed channeling. I have been interviewing experts on my talk show to find out, does life continue after we die? And can we communicate with those that have crossed over? With each expert I spoke to, they all had different ideas. Is there knowledge from the past which could be shared with the present moment? So I thought, why not just speak to the non-physical world directly through channelers around the world? And that's what I set out to do. They Call Us Channelers will take the viewers on a journey into the phenomena known as channeling. And my main goal with this docuseries is to bring a new understanding and awareness to channeling by looking within ourselves and asking, is it truly possible that we can all use this innate ability?
Hi, my name is Roxanne Swainhart and I'm a channeler. I don't particularly channel any one or two beings, I'm an open channel. So I have many that come through and offer their perspective of the universe to our current idea of humanity.
What was childhood like for you?
Well, childhood for me was growing up in a military family. I, let's say, moved, I think 13 times before I got out of high school. So it was mainly going to a place, getting friends, and then leaving. So I think the developmental of me being easy to make friends, that would have been accentuated by me moving around. So I was very sociable. I like to meet people, and I really, really enjoyed just playing. I love to play. And I was kind of naive for, I guess, a good portion of my childhood, because I would think people would just want to play. But then I discovered people wanted to make fun of me, or be angry, or play tricks on people, and then I saw the divisionaries of friends start to happen, and things like that. And well, that's not really part of the the childhood of growing up. It's the experience. Well, I guess it is that then. Yeah. So it was a wonderful childhood. Let's say my parents were Christian, my Greek faith, Greek Orthodox. So I grew up with that spirituality of the Christ in my life, taught the fears of Christ and things like that, but I never really paid attention. We didn't go to church that much. The biggest idea was the transgender when I first, we'll label her Roxanne, that's me now. At the time I was Roy. Found Roxanne in a way that behavior. See, you understand person by behavior, and that's their distinct truth, because no truth is enacted unless it is the truth of the person, and you can tell it through behavior. Even if the behavior is an act, it's still behavior. So I was behaving like a girl, and I found that out because I was starting, as you get older, you start to get criticized by your groups of boyfriends that would say that that's a girly, or you're a mama's boy came later in life, and just things like that. But I met Roxanne at the age of 8. That's when I had realized that I was not the same, because it wasn't so much being attracted to men. I was just doing a whole lot of girly things. The sexuality part didn't come till like about 12 or 13. But the gender was embedded at a young age. Especially, there were times my mother told me, these are memories that I don't have, but my mother told me, particular likings towards things that would be considered feminine. So that was a little bit of a battle when you become more self-reflective or sentient as you're growing up. And I think that was a key for me to realize that I had that potential in me. And I was not gaining my father's approval in the antics of my life, because I wasn't being the sportsman like my brother was. I have one older brother, and that's it. That's the only child I have, or sibling I have. Thank you. So my brother was a very athletic and very academic, and I thought school was absolutely insane. And what the hell are we doing here to learn all this stuff? It has absolutely no bearing. That's the inside. Of course, the act of me said, "Oh, I'll try and I'll do that. Yes, I will." And plus, I wasn't a very good reader, and my handwriting was horrible. So I was really looked at. Now, think about generations. So if you're younger right now, you didn't experience the criticism teachers growing up in the 60s and the 70s, in schooling in the 60s and the 70s, then you're translating what I'm saying from a different perspective. So, of course, which is all of reality, truly. But realize that the teachers back then were just coming off the age of you only have to write right-handed and you don't read very well, and the other children were gifted and you're not so gifted, and maybe we need to put you in this class, and all that bullshit that they did. But of course, they're gods just playing a game, so awesome. So, the academic parts, the father's approval parts, I wasn't gaining. The mother's approval parts, I wasn't getting like my brother. You hear that, why can't you be like your brother? That should have been stamped on my fucking forehead. So I can, okay, why don't I be like that? So, anyway, life turned out to be life as it is. When I became sexually interested in life at the age of 12, I had no, again, attraction towards men, but I had this urge about it. I couldn't see myself attracted to the men because my self-view was I was a man. And gay didn't feel right in sexuality preference. I still feel an attraction towards feminism. So I stifled those feelings and directed my energies at, women. And of course, it turns out I'm more of a friend with most of them because we have a lot of the same ideas, to communicate with. And so a lot of my girlfriends became my best friends, which turned out we broke up and became best friends. But I had my first sexual experience with a man at 12. not man. It was a friend, and that was at the age of 12. Gave my first blowjob, and oh my God, doing that hit something inside of me that said, it felt so natural to be that vibration, which of course at the time I had no idea it was vibration, and to give that, and it was so perfect. It was so excellent. And that's before I moved to Germany. It was in the United States. And then we moved to Germany. And in Germany, I had an occurrence of being raped by an older gentleman. And that experience in and of itself was not as traumatic as people would think it was. Even the word rape has a vibration of traumatic, and it is a definite definition that leaves a bad taste in one's mouth, I would think, because it is something of intrusive on another person. But it wasn't that bad of it. There was a few things that I had to deal with, and I dealt with them most accordingly, I believe. I know. So that occurrence shifted me into an allowance of accepting myself. Now, of course, I did this internally because I wouldn't dare cross my parents on this, because I'm going to get the same old fucking lecture about, rights and wrongs and you're a dumbass, things like that. They were not abusive in any way, but they were emotionally abusive, most certainly, making one feel like an idiot because I didn't hold myself in the same standards as their expectations. So I developed this appetite to earn their love for the rest of my life, which only caused us to be what people are, I guess, labeling dysfunctional. We argue with each other about things, and we don't agree on things, and all they can do is give me fucking advice for my entire life. And I had to stop that. See, that was me. That was my relationship with reality, trying to earn someone else's love. And that's impossible, everybody. You can't, because it's an individual choice to allow someone to love or love be exchanged in whatever mannerism that occurs. So you can only love yourself, because it is your world and your universe. And I found that out much later in life. But I went through the battles of what it is to be a teenager and growing up with two selves inside and trying to play the picture role and trying to be the image. And it's very struggling. And you all, I'm sure most of you understand exactly what I'm talking about, because when you go to work, you put on the image at work. Oh, yes, sir. No, sir. Behind your breath, you're like, fuck off, and you're being the employee, and to maintain a job, to keep your status in the world so you can be accepted, so you can be safe and secure, and all that shit that we predicate as reality. So the images that we're sustaining were growing tiresome. And at a couple different points, I went to college and stayed there for a semester. That was a joke. I sought foundation of purpose, and I found none. And so I ended up joining the Army and did that for 5 years. And that was not my idea. It was nice. It was awesome. I loved serving the country. That was awesome. But it wasn't something to be career or long-term for me. Then in the last year I was in the military, I went ahead and started selling cars, because my dad had retired from the military and he was selling cars. And I was good at that because I was a very good people person. I understood how to smile authentically. And that authentic smile gained me at least an honest conversation with someone, a customer. And my selling skills were honed over a 17-year career in that. And then it ended. It ended when I found Roxanne. I found Roxanne in 2010 is when I decided to bring Roxanne out. I've already knew Roxanne, but it was time to bring her into the world and become my authentic. And that's when I discovered falling in love with yourself is priceless. Being your true self, despite what the religions say, the haters, the alchemists of the variations of whatever is faddish at the time, the ones that go from one vibration to a next as an ideology, the current flag to hide under or hide behind, the guise, whatever. So you received a lot of, I received a lot of scrutiny from it, but I also gained an equal amount of friends, support. So the universe took care of me, and which of course I deemed it the universe at the time, but now I know it's just me. My world I created. It's wonderful. So I became Roxanne and start living that life full time. And I don't even consider it any more transgender. It's just who I am. See, I'm not going to transition to a final. I'm in a constant transition, discovery of Roxanne, of me. And that's where I'm at. And so the life that I had is priceless. I would never, ever judge any moment of my life, because all the defining moments, and every single moment is defining because it is in creation as existence, has led me to the realization of me. And I would never replace any of myself that came to this self, because I'm so in love with myself, it's immeasurable. And to become this authentic, to become this real, with no concordance of revelations from anyone else's judgments or experiences with me and their barkings at me, it is complete freedom to be alive in this relationship with yourself, which is the relationship to reality. So it's priceless.
Yeah, I've asked you this before in a previous interview, but
Sure.
you must, it was a pretty brave thing to come out and do what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
That was not easy, surely.
Yeah, I did it the wrong way, everyone said. I transitioned before I put everything in place. Apparently in the transition world, you put everything into place, you get your name, you do everything first, and you change things. And I did it backwards. I just said, I'm done, and I start dressing. I had short hair, my beard was still strong, I wasn't taking hormones. So I was not a very pleasant transition. It was something a sight to see, I'm sure. So yeah, that was rough, because getting accepted by, when you're a sales manager, as I was, and you made a very good amount of money, and making yourself having a good life, and then all that just drops away. And these are the same people that I'm working with. So the image was acceptable as Roy. And when I became Roxanne, the image was taboo. It pushed so many people away, because I would be something of a threat or something to deal with. They judged it. And of course, that's fine. I'm representing reality is. They can accept it or not. That's up to them. But when I first came out, it was very nerve-wracking, scary to go out in public, because I did, fear, some of the stories you get in the transition, because I did get the transition support groups and stuff, and some of the stories about, they beat the shit out of the gays in the 80s, and then they got tired of that, and they realized the gays are not going anywhere, and hey, man, they're pretty cool people. Wow, they can actually run a company, and God hates faggots didn't work out, because faggots are still here, so God wasn't in on that one, apparently. So all that stuff didn't play out, and then they shift any kind of generational racism, and it's not their fault. It's the belief system of the culture. Everyone covets, but they attack transitions, and there was transgender ideas out there, and they still have currently the bathroom law that's going on right now that some of the Republican states are trying to do, and of course North Carolina suffered the consequences of that by losing a lot of support, billions of dollars in revenue, because there's so many transgenders out there, and a lot of them are stealth. You don't know. You just don't know they are. So all of that idea of getting the support and going out and living that fearful world because of the threats that the transition was getting, and having to use, which I never did, a men's bathroom, is excruciatingly painful for a woman. So define yourself as a gender right now and not sexual, because everyone thinks transgenders are sexual beasts, or we're fetishes and we're wrong. And for some reason they turn us into child molesters. Because they're arrogant. It's excruciatingly painful for a person. So women, my thoughts back, my pardons. So women that are gender, or men that are gender, you would not want to do your business inside of the opposite sex. It just doesn't sit right. Maybe one day we'll just have all bathrooms are co-created, of course, because we're there to use the bathroom. That's what we're there to do, go to the bathroom. Anyways, so, that getting used to being in public through the experiences of the now, being my authentic self, grew into a vibration that attracted the world that was my equal match. So my transition was awesome, truly. It was frightening, scary, beautiful, priceless, and coming to a point of realization that Roxanne is just an idea that's going into a deeper idea, and I represent myself, and I'll label myself as Roxanne today, and this is the way I represent myself. I love, oh my God, I love being a woman. I love dressing up, I love makeup, I love shoes, and just everything, and I love pleasing my man and making love to him, and taking care of that. I love the whole feminine idea, and it's exquisite. So that step gave me the permission to, when I started channeling, to trust the authentic inside. And it helped me hone my channeling skills with ignoring or just allowing but never validating the doubt inside to bring me to this point we're at today. Hi. Very good.
Perfect. Okay. So just going to the channeling skills, because it's different for everyone. When it how did it start to come through? And when it did, what was it? What is this?
Well, it was I think a little different than a lot of people. I was involved in a meditation group, a guided meditation group, and I have this thing. I love to ohm, and ohming in different pitches just gave my body a great vibration, and it made me feel good. And then a friend of mine that was the leader of the guided facilitator of this guided meditation group, her name was Wink Carlock, and she goes, "Why don't you listen to the Hathor material?" So I start listening to the Hathor material through Tom Kenyon, and I loved the tonings and all this stuff, and then she was giving me books, and I was reading the Ramtha books, and I was reading the raw material, and of course Seth. So I'm all into this idea of waking up, and it was just like, wow, this truth is just, and you're on fire. You're like, holy crap, look what I found, and you want to scream it to the world. So it was just wonderful. And then I'm listening to this thing. I live in an apartment. I was living all alone, and I would put on the computer this on a loop, this particular Atheos. It was called Atheos Sound Healing from Tom Kenyon, and I put it on a loop, and I fell asleep to it. And then one night I'm laying in bed, and I'm hearing these different tones inside of it, and it's just sparking this information starting to flow in. And then I said, wow, there's a language in here. And I'm laying in bed and I'm listening to this, and there's this language in here. And then all of a sudden this language started to, make these noises in my head. So I'm ohming along with this, and then I'm just like, Om. And then the language and the ohms inside of my head were changing. Om. Shimya Kona Maria Tukashniya. And then there was this language, and while the language is speaking, I'm hearing it in English in my head. I have the exact translation. And then I was like, someone there? And they're going, yeah, we're right here. I was like, who are you? And they were like the Parisians. And I was like, hello, Parisians. And I'm open, and I am absolutely open. I've read my Seth 101. Just give yourself the permission to pretend. So it was happening as pretend. The logical mind wanted to call bullshit. The pretend mind said, no, let's play. So I did. And the authentic came through. And they're going, we're the civilization. And I start writing this stuff down, and it's pouring through me. And I was writing these different, and I'm talking to this and the archangels, and I'm talking to the Anani and the Iona and the Atona come in. And all these entities are coming to me. And I was like, man, I got to speak this to a friend. So I called Rita and Wink. Wink came over first, and then she called Rita to bring the camera over. And what we did is they said, ask us questions and we'll translate. So Roxy will translate in the language of Parisian, and then they will tell me, and then I translate it back. So that's what I did. So someone would ask me a question, and I would ask the Parisians a question, and they would translate, and I ask it back. And then the information was so awesome, and because I could never have thought of this anywhere in my referencing mind of experience, my memory, none of this information was contained. It wasn't even fathomable in reference points to contain an ideology of maybe. It was like so beautiful and so real and authentic. And I was like, yes. And I knew I wanted to be a channel once I started watching Daryl, Enka Bashar. And it was like, man, I want to do that. So that started that, and that opening up to it. And then I got friends there, and we start doing these little group sessions to have the Parisians come in. And then one day, Hugh came in, H-E-W, and he said, would you like to be a channeler, an open conscience channeler? And I was like, absolutely. And he goes, well, I'll teach you some of the skills. So we spent about a week with me teaching me how to channel the voices through without me disrupting them with my own fears or words. Because we all know when you're starting to talk, you have a couple of thoughts about where it's going 2 or 3 words ahead. And you don't want to take those words and disrupt the flow because you don't know where it's going to go. And that was the fear. It's like, oh my God, someone's asking me about what's on the other side of the moon. And this is the information. How the hell do I know that? You want to make it more reasonable. But see, whenever you're trying to make it more logical, it's to your own individual universe and never the recipient, because they are their own individual universe and their own translation. It's perfect. So you just started being the you that to discover you, the you that you are, to understand, wow, this is real for me. And for me, that choice, that truth, you never need anyone else, ever. And that was the release. And that's what channeling did for me. And then it came into this idea of honing their skills to become an exceptional channeler, a master at it. And so I started, channeling as much as I could, wherever I could, from whomever. I started the website. I started getting sessions. I started the YouTube channel and start channeling once a week. Then we did twice a week. And then, we're at 550 or 560 videos later. And, we're just past 4 years on it. 2013, I think it was. When I started, and it's just growing. And now I started this Sylvester class, and we're bringing in the dynamics of the unknown. I mean, the cutting edge shit that's just out of control, beautiful, to be a part of that experience. And I'm channeling not only civilizations, just even ideas, the idea of awareness. I'm channeling the idea of awareness. And of course, I'm channeling some things I've known. I channel George G. Washington. He calls himself G. Washington. He doesn't call himself George. And Nostradamus. And then I had a visit from Napoleon, which was awesome. Charles Manson came through. And of course, all the other ones you would believe, Yeshua and different archangels and understanding, but it's just turned into this magic land, and I just want to see where it's going to go. So I pursue it, and I channel with my classes. We have Monday through Thursday classes, twice on Monday and Wednesday, and once on Tuesday and Thursday, for the average about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on the class, every session. And so I'm channeling so much, plus my YouTube channelings, and plus the sessions. And it is just turning into this whole reality that creates an everlasting harmony with the universe, returning to the isness that we are. The perfection of I am, and whatever I am is perfect. And it's beautiful. So yeah. So that's what that transition led to. Moving to San Antonio from Vegas, discovering through the world the opportunity to become a guided meditation to get myself, because I was disoriented in what I should do and how I should lead my life, and going to job interviews and not finding any jobs because of my appearance and having the doubts and all that shit. And I found it, and it led me to this world, and it's priceless. Every single iota of information I've ever experienced is the result of Roxanne today, and it is priceless, truly.
Had you not become Roxanne,
Oh, shit.
do you think do you think that you would not be channeling?
Oh, absolutely not. I would have stayed in the car business. I would have probably stayed married to my third wife. You know, got married to her, and she allowed me to have some sexual freedoms that I was embarrassed with my other wives to be. You know, the idea of being with men. The second wife was open to that, but me and her left for different reasons. But the third wife was definitely open to my sexual prowess, and she enhanced it, and that led to the permission of Roxanne being played. And when I became Roxanne, when I saw myself dressed up as a woman in the mirror, oh my God, it felt so good. So, and then that was the result. So she is one of the bravest persons I've ever known for, you know, maybe she didn't know it at the time, for marrying this dynamic train wreck and becoming that. If I had not transitioned, I would have stayed in the car business, maybe worked my way up. I was a desk manager, new car manager, maybe had the opportunity to be a sales trainer. I don't think I ever wanted to be the GSM or GM. Didn't have that appetite for that kind of structure. But I would have stayed in the car business and ended it there, for sure.
What is channeling to you now?
It's a relationship with what's possible with the self. Channeling is bringing in what's already there. You have an idea of the 5 laws of the universe. There were 4, but I added one. And number 2 is everything is here and now. So since I'm part of creation, then I have access to everything is here and now. And what I do not have access to is either by twofold. It is not my joy in the idea as a validated truth, or if it is filtered by my perception mind of reality, I'm born into a forgotten God, a separated God here on earth as a human. So that game became, I didn't know I was connected. And channeling has led me back to the connections that I had forgot, plus the unknown connections that are always there. And finding such magic inside. And see, Ocyphius and of course Willy Wonka, imagination is the roadmap to creation. And that roadmap has taken me to worlds. And see, everything is a relationship to reality. You guys feel the innocence, the reality, I call them innocent. When you wake up, you're innocence lost. So you become this idea of this is real, and you are vibrating in the reality. Just look up Tesla or Einstein. And so we all know reality is frequency interpreted by the electrons of your mind. So you're relating to reality with this idea of this vibration, this frequency. And this frequency is how I understood myself in channeling as possible to find more of that. So everything in here now told me through channeling I have access to the world, and imagination took me there, and then that imagination frequency, the relationship to reality, those worlds became as real as this world. Because this world is not physical. This world has the appearancy of physical, but it's truly light vibrating at a certain frequency. That's all it is. So then why can't I go to other worlds in light? So I did. And channeling took me there. And I've met so many entities. There's billions. They're all different. They're all unique. And they're all expressing themselves from the paradigm that they chose to play and evolving that world. Like the Pleiadian is evolving the Pleiadians. And dogs are being a dog. And cats are being cats. And some of them are Lyrans. You know, and the reptilians are being reptilians, and they're evolving that expression of creation. And here on humanity is what we're doing. And this is my journey, is to discover that I'm a God that forgot. An individual singularity chosen to exist by creation in and of itself. And that gives me the fundamental right to express myself and explore myself as that approach to life. And my relationship with that has been boundless now. And that is what it's given me. So I get to go and explore anywhere in my imagination, and it takes me to everywhere. Everywhere in the here and the now. And it is priceless. And it is beautiful that I get to do it from a point of humanity, to be a separated God to an awoken God. So I have no interest in becoming a God again, because I am God in this expression. I have a very, very much of a huge appetite and interest in creating the best God reflection through the eyes of a human. And I call it, personally, Homo Divinicus, the next idea of humanity. God, it feels so good, doesn't it? It's so fucking exciting. We get to do this. Anyways.
If there was one central message from what's coming through from anything that you do channel, right, what would be that one theme, that one message?
Oh my God, fall in love with yourself. Let's understand, I'll give you this vibration. Let's understand the word trust. You place your trust upon another. That's becoming an enslaver. Because through obligations and responsibilities, the relationship, you put your trust on that person. So that person has to live within your box. And your box is a private box. You may speak your ideology to them of, I expect this world, our world, to you to fit in this way. Okay? And we'll give you an easy one. Husband and wife get married, you're not supposed to stray and have sex outside the marriage. That's one easy one. Okay. So just for references. So you place your trust upon that person. And that person gets an urge or an experience, or they have a relationship with you that would lead them to the opportunity to have sex outside the marriage. So they contain themselves within the ideology of the structure that says marriage. So now they're contorting themselves as well as this person's contorting themselves, and you're demanding their contortionism through the box that you placed of trust. So I would say don't trust anyone there's no reason to, because everyone is God expressing. You don't need to trust anything because there's nothing to not trust. Because see, the trust is inside. So you trust yourself, and that becomes your universe. And through that, when you trust your heart to speak your joy, to act upon what that is that you choose to act upon, your truth, you're falling in love with yourself. And you do that by choosing what you trust. Your heart, this is my truth. I'm going to express Roxanne. I'm going to wear my hair this way. I'm going to wear my makeup this way. It's not for the approval, not creating an image for acceptance. It is the authentic being birthed. That is who I'm falling in love with. And that is the message that will give you the most unfathomable freedom. It's not about ascending. It's not about becoming another idea, to becoming a goal, to becoming an outcome, to becoming the next image. It's not about that. It's about finding the freedom to live your life as is in the now. And that is priceless. So that's what falling in love does to you. And I would use it as with a bedmate of trust. Only trust you. Don't place your trust upon another. You do not need to burden them and have them carry your trust through a lifetime. For they have enough shit on their shoulders as with their own democracies of coveting beliefs that demise them in their own dismay. You don't need to give them that extra weight. Let them be gods, for God's sakes, because you're enough on your own, and that'll teach you, I swear. You start to fall in love with yourself, you will know what it is to be enough, because you never need to be more. And always realize the chasm between more and enough is always the same distance. Because if you've got to be more, you'll never be enough. And if you're enough, you'll never need more. And the enough doesn't become complacency. It becomes opportunistic to vibrations of the unknowns, because you're a natural explorer of the creation. Trust it. Don't theorize it. Trust it.
Yeah, so if someone, let's use that analogy of cheating then, yeah?
Sure.
I mean, there is a repercussion of that.
There's not a repercussion. The repercussion is the ideology of everyone labeling it. There's no consequences until you call it a consequence measured on a belief system that says this is consequential. It's not.
Okay, then your partner cheats on you. What are you going to do?
I'm going to say, gossip, have fun, but I'm not going to hold them to the accountability of cheating. That's a God expressing at the time. Why would I ever deny someone their own love? I'm enough. I don't need to rely on someone else to give me my worth. The minute I do that, I don't need a bus to get back to fucked.
But surely that's going to,
surely for you.
Surely that's going to hurt, isn't it?
No, it's going to hurt someone else. It's going to hurt someone else that realizes, and it does hurt. So if someone cheats on you, and it hurts, it does. So that means that pain is that you are a dependency on that person to give you your value. So you're holding them in accountability through an ideology of a piece of paper that says a constitution written by an angry God, the Bible, and it wasn't God that wrote it in that fashion. It was men. Those ideas of that institution becomes your life, and that's fine. But there are many marriages that are very open and they don't have divorce rates because they're allowing their partner to experience the possibilities of themselves in life as well as fulfilling their own ideas. And that's just sexuality, but it can be other parts of the life too. It can be other things, but of course the mind goes to sexuality because it's so freaking taboo on this planet that sex automatically is to the devil. But as soon as you get married, then you can become a banshee and swing from the chandelier. Great. But before that, you're a fucking sinner. Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, so that idea of the whole thing about, partners and sharing means you have to be this. Sex and love are two completely different ideologies. Sexual is passionate of fulfilling the physical idea of that expression. Love is unconditional. You put conditions on a partner, you're not love. You're the idea of love in what? In commandment. The commandment of another to contort themselves to your ideology of trust. And if not, you're betrayed and it's going to hurt. And it is going to hurt if you have that expectation of a dependency on that person. Because we think we have to fall in love with one person. And you can fall in love with one person and have that perfect harmonistic relationship and share many partners or share only one. But that's up to the two individuals expressing an idea called a marriage. If you want to even be a marriage. Me and Tommy have been together for coming up on 2 years and we're not married, and I don't even know if we're going to get married. But we're not looking for that idea because we love each other unconditionally, and we're growing together as two entities that are boundless and shedding the perceptions of what's supposed to be and holding each other to the contempt of the ideology of limitations. We find each other because we're enough to ourselves. And therefore we can be unconditional to our reality. And therefore, the unknown is always on my doorstep. Every day. That kind of idea. How's that?
Okay, thank you. And where do you see, or do you ever think about, have you ever considered the evolution of channeling? There seems to be more and more people becoming channelers.
Yeah, there's a lot of ideas that become that idea channels, and I think we channeled about 2 years ago. We need more channelers, and we put out a channeling video called Channeling 101 to get people going and just to explore that world within themselves. And I taught channeling for a while, and then those turned into the Sylvester classes. I see channeling for me. I have this ideology is I want to take the skills that I have and channel particular skill sets. So say you want to understand a betterment of your passion of, let's say you want to be an architect. So I can channel Frank Lloyd Wright for you and bring that into the idea. So maybe you want to be a different idea of a leader. So let me go ahead and channel, let's say, Napoleon and G. Washington, or maybe a Caesar, to understand the attributes of leadership. So channeling is taking the passions of humanity and giving them a different angle on it instead of using all the material of the library of limitation. And what that is, that's the experience of humanity on Earth. See, we always take what we've understood and reference it from that point and then take that and develop into our ideology of our thinking mind, which only takes what we've experienced and puts it together in what we call a new thing. And then we work through that. But we also get undiscovered countries. Of course, we got the cell phone. Thanks, Steve. And I also channeled Steve with some ideologies for his one student on going, Steve Jobs, to go forward in business. So I think channeling can become a skill set for people that are not so much an idea of becoming awakened. They don't need to awaken. No one needs to awaken. The ascension is going to happen. Spirituality is going to happen in the idea of the species moving to the next idea of its self-worth density. All that's going to happen. We don't need to rush it. What we need to do is to discover ourselves that without labels. So it doesn't need to be a spiritual world or an ascending world and the asleep world. It's humans. So I want to offer to the masses, not just the channeling world, maybe a college course on understanding dynamics of humanity, and have different humans that have passed and that are future, that are not in the current now, speak about dynamics of being human, to teach a humanities class. Or maybe someone wants to understand the next idea let's say, polymers, in the idea of structures upon the earth. So I'll channel an idea of a reptilian. His name is Kush. And he, on his planet of Draconia, is working with different ideas of alchemy to form different ideas of polymers that would be biological co-creation with its environment, so the structures actually become what they call nature. So you can use architect and structure and alchemy and polymers to work with plastics, but that are biological in nature, because it's a blending of any kind of two vibrations, signatures of reality, and blend them and create this new birthing idea. So someone wants to understand the next dynamic of composites to build with, other than this brick and mortar and iron shit we got all over the place being utilitarian. We can have more dynamics of structure with curves and lighter and easier materials to work with, and things that just don't need to be so evasive to the idea of the earth. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong. God damn it, nothing wrong with fucking building buildings. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there's always more. And that's the next thing I want to do. I love the edge. I love the unknown. I love the stuff that says this isn't real. Yes, that means it has the potential to be real, because whatever's available in creation in your imagination can be brought into the ideology of a physical experience, or actually any experience that you find valid, because you're the truth of your own universe. So that's where I think channeling would really go. I would really love to someone to come to me and say, well, I want to understand this dynamic of this. And there's no one in the current space that's famous, but there's another person maybe in history I can bring up and bring in that point of view to give the inspiration to this person, to help cultivate a mind of freedom instead of mind of, oh, this is right because we proved it with my measuring stick. And tell you that's not right, and forget about that information that was, and experience what is the potential of is. And that's what I think channelers provide, and that's where I think it's going to go in the dynamic of a relationship with humanity and its currency.
What is the difference then between the medium and a channeler in your understanding?
A medium has an ability to transfer themselves vibrationally to the person that is, let's say, being sought after. Now, here, let me preface this with this idea. A medium is usually used as a connection to the world, but to the undead world, or the other side, that kind of idea. But it is mainly used with ghosts. Okay, and this is going to take a minute, so I'm going to say this as real fast as I can. If an entity on earth dies, a forgotten god dies, and doesn't realize they are dead, the fathomable idea is they become ghosts. And a medium can connect in that relationship of validation, because they know they are a medium, they trust it, so they allow that vibration to connect, and they can communicate with the ones that are, quote, caught between two worlds as ghosts. So they can communicate with them in a way to help them walk and return home into the light, to realize that they are dead and not the physical idea, and they can go home now, and back to the whole of themselves. So yeah, that's a mediumship, to put themselves within that same frequency band of the ghost world, which is just that much out of our world. That's why ghosts come in and out, and that's what mediums do in reference to the current ideology of my definition of mediumship, and it's absolutely, and I can do it, but I don't appetite it. My passion is the channeling aspect, to bring in the entities that are about, and there's a billion of them here and now that can come through and talk, and it's exquisite.
But when someone goes to a meeting and they say, could you connect with my father, is he okay? Now that father...
The father is the whole self, unless it's a ghost. And the mediums can do that. But the medium's going to be translating the vibration of the whole self, because that father version, that vibration is no longer being validated by the entity, the whole of it. It's an experiential of a memory, but in the current now, that now is past. So the now of the Father is an ideology that exists in time, and therefore the translation is going to be through the whole self that you get. Now you can channel the idea of the version of that vibration. So in other words, if I wanted to channel Michael Jackson's past, I would channel the whole of Michael Jackson. But I can also channel the version of the psyche, the mind psyche of that, what you call personality of Michael Jackson as well. And that would be only open to the moment. So where directionally it's going to go, I have no idea. Nowhere that I ever wanted to go anywhere in particular is because I'm limited. I'm not going to do that through a thinking mind. So they're connecting with the father of a past one that had passed, absolutely. But it is not the same earth human, because the earth human is holy now. Make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you. Then really the evolution of that type of TV show, and I'll put it on this, I mean, whether we include this, you know, there is no difference really between, there is not much difference if you did a TV show between that of a channel and that of a...
Not so much, no. They're all attributes of going inside, trusting the self to relate to reality and trust those vibrational senses, words, images are coming through as a valid truth. But and whatever everyone wants to do with it, it's up to them.
But do you think there's more information as a channel like that you're able to bring through, like a bigger...
Oh, I'm not going to measure it that way. No way. Because each individual has their own... Because I don't know, a person that calls themselves a medium, I don't know how much information that they're discerning. You know? I can tell you this, though. Through my idea of mediumship, my approach to it is for one specific purpose of helping someone pass over. Because people call me, has this person passed? And I was like, yeah, they're gone. They're home. They're fine. Okay, good. And another person says, oh, is this person passed? Well, actually, no. They're still caught. So I go into the mediumship to do that, and I get other information through the idea of channeling. So I'm not going to measure that, because my experience is I get that version of a world of speaking with ghosts to release them, to let them go home. Not saying that other mediums don't have access to the same as I do. So they may truly have it, but they're just not labeling and channeling. It's labeled mediumship. So I'm not going to define two worlds, because that's just a separatist. We have enough of that down here.
What's an important message you'd like to give here?
Oh my goodness. Again, the idea of love, falling in love with yourself. But here, let me give you this last little thing. This is cool. Be yourself in every choice to experience what the fearful mind says that doesn't happen. Because we always hesitate, we delay, because we're always expecting a certain outcome through the fearful mind of a possibility. And we don't want to do that. So I would say be yourself, choose yourself, no matter what. Don't talk yourself out of your authentic, because you deserve it. Give yourself a life you deserve. You do. So you do that in trust. And that is to the becoming of you. And you will discover a truth about yourself. And that truth feels vibrationally unjustifiable to anyone else. You never need to defend your position of life when you speak your authentic. That's the falling in love with you. And when you do that, here's what you're going to discover. Versions of realities, of truths that no longer service you. Selves of expression, images you created to stave off or bring in admiration of acceptance. So you bring that self to an awareness, and this truth becomes a truth. And all of a sudden, that truth that was a truth is no longer a truth. So don't hold that self in regard of regret. Because that self did the best, and that self birthed this self to have the ability to look at back at that self in evolution. That's fucking priceless. Don't ever regret your choices. Become you to find out all the fears are bullshit. All of them. They exist only one place, in time. Keep going through the nows and saying, guess what? It's okay right now. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. I know, but I'm okay now. Now, because that's all there is. Everything is time prevalated upon the ideas of the etherics, imagination, based off of fears of the past, experiences of other people's diarrhea, because they were forgotten too. Love them and allow them. I think that's it.
Okay, so I'll let you go down and do what you do to bring whoever in this moment wants to come forward.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So just rock and roll.
I think just rock and roll.
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
No direction.
No direction whatsoever.
No point of view.
No point.
Caught in the wind.
Oh, yes.
We certainly don't need direction in that mannerism, but we offer your gratitude in that perspective. Greetings to you, Kevin, once again. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Wonderful. So the ideology, playing with a documentary, to bring channeling to the palette of humanity. Greetings all out there in La La Land. How are you? Excellent. So in this idea, what is it all about? Channeling in and of itself. What does it mean? What is it really? Is it made up? Is it bullshit? Is it an ideology of someone fascinating and talking with their different voices in their head? Schizophrenia? Those kind of ideas. What it does for humanity is bringing this ideology, the unknown, into the known. You guys are very well versed in the known. I would dare say, yes, you are. You take the known and you decorate it in another way, but it's still the known. There are those who are brave. You're Steve Jobs, bringing a new palette to humanity to play with. And everyone said, holy shit, this is awesome. I get to do this. Alternate current, electric. Here comes Tesla, squashing the idea of Edison. Coming up with an idea to change the scope, the shape of humanity. And that's what the movers and the shakers do. They bring the unknown, authentic through vibration into the palette of humanity's diners. And whether they choose or not is up to them. And this is such fashions. But we all know channeling, to the ones who have received the interaction in experience, it's valid, it's real. Why? Because the discovery of humanity is that they are part of a collective. Many do not believe this yet, but enough do. Because this is why it's here. Because there's enough validating this as a potential to experience. That's why in the now, whoever is seeing this is what you have allowed yourself to perceive in what? Expansion. Expansion back to the conscience collective of one, the unum of creation. The all are one and the one are all. All here playing a game. Just experiencing through the own individual singularity you have been chosen to exist as. And this is what we are today. To bring it to the ones that are like, I'm looking for something different. It's got to be decorated in a mannerism of unknown. I'm tired of fads. I'm tired of new versions of old scene. You're just wrapping the same piece of shit in a different piece of cloth. Give me something I'm alive to feel. Idea. And here we are. Greetings. So, in the idea of channeling in and of itself, what is it? There are many viewpoints, and we would want that. We do not want solids. We do not want stables, or let's say staples or standards, because any amount of limitation will collapse upon itself and the idea will die. You want to be the ever-expander. You want to redivine until divine, that kind of idea. So let's look at this. Channeling, my name is Ocyphius. What I am is a signature. I'm a vibration, I'm a thought. I am not an entity in the idea of that, of let's say any particular expression that would confine myself to, let's say, a human or an alien or an extraterrestrial or an ant or a moonbeam. I am a signature of existence. I am the I am that I am, as you are too, most certainly. So what this is Roxy is connecting through the vibration of allowance, her trust in her own connection to creation. And then she becomes the version of expression. She, the conscious self of doubt, is diminished, is allowed to step aside, and she becomes the moment, the now. There are many ideas of experience she has shed, the doubts, them in and of itself, approvals for the admirations of others, her co-creators, her brother-in-arms, to give her the support in this reference of the new experience. She does that, and now she finds herself in the moment, and I, Ocyphius, co-create with her. She takes my vibration and mixes it with her. So Ocyphius and Roxy are a unum now. And we are blending in the ideology of expression for you to take, and then you shall take us and blend into your isness as we have always done, as we always ever shall be. That of the all are one and the one are all once again. We are always constantly creating with each other. And just the idea of channeling in the human perspective at its time is now ready to understand as itself a collective of one. Not the collective of humanity, but the collective of all creation. Being part of creation once again. It journeys itself into forgetfulness. To have an experience, to find what is possible in a realm of a forgotten God, not knowing it's connected to creation. And the discovery of itself is this, to come home, in that idea reference. To become a whole God once again, to understand itself as creation, in and of itself, portion of creation, expressing its right to be that truth that it chooses to be. The ultimate truth, for all of you who are seeking the one truth that is not solid, it is this idea. Are you ready? The ultimate truth is most certainly that you choose your own truth, and there is nothing freer than that. It is truly unconditioned, untethered, unabridged, what? Whatever you say. It is emptiness expressed into fullness. Your truth is whatever you shall be. That is the ultimate freedom for all of humanity to perceive today. So Roxy connects with me, Ocyphius, Sylvester, different ideologies of your human idea fractals that have experienced themselves. Let's say she's channeled Bruce Lee, Nostradamus, Tesla, different ideas here and there. And to understand her reasonality with her expression and possibility. She represents something then, the lighthouse, as Sly said. You want to come? Stand by. Sly. What's up, kiddo? Hi. Man. All right, cool. All right. So the lighthouse is what Roxy is. What does she represent? Not going to mess up your camera, right? Okay. So Roxy stands a post, and a post is light. She doesn't go out and seek and shine her light onto people. That's a preacher. Humanities have enough of preachers. Okay, the resounding theme of telling how fucked up you are through some dominion of an angry God that only promises you life or death. And I don't understand any parent of that nature. That was an idea that was birthed literally from fear, from the polarity world you have chosen to be in. So Roxy does something for herself. She represents a lighthouse. Okay, there's many out there lost. And they're finding their way home, and they find the beacon of light. And it's not that Roxy is a leader. She creates leaders, the leaders of selves, to inspire and cultivate that lost God to remember once again their own value. So that's what she's doing. So that's what we're all doing here. So the one way to do it is Roxy comes to Earth, and through all these billions of probabilities, she starts to choose her life. And there's no meaning. There's no setness. It's just the results. But the results are only measured in the now. It's never staple in time. So Roxy finds her isness, finds her choices, finds her ideas, becomes from Roy to Roxanne, starts to live that, starts to be free, and comes across a couple of entities because her expression allows these vibrations to become noticed in a reality, to go and play in the shiny new field or playground, right? So she finds that, and she connects and starts to channel, and she hones her skill and becomes exceptional and starts to understand herself in this reflection. And then opportunity comes because the collective's ready. So channeling is connecting to all of us. And there's a billion of us out here. There's so many species, so many ideologies. I think your most recent movie, you have some really good movies out there that are representing the possibilities, right? And Arrival was one of them that was exceptional. Valerium, right? Valerian, okay, and all the stuff, it's a lot of the stuff and a lot of the anger stuff is just representing humanity and the bullshit that you guys continue because you're trying to fucking make money. Okay, bullshit, have fun, but the money didn't do too good on that. It could have been better, but of course you're thinking of the past. Anyways, so what it was representing at the beginning there is when humanity starts shaking hands with aliens. And then another type, and another type, and another type. And this is a predecessor of what's going to happen to the collective. You guys are going to get UFO, or unidentified flying objects, more and more in the next few years. Then you're cannot hide it anymore. And then, of course, all the secrecy and all that bullshit that you guys pretend to be conspiracies, that's fine, that's your game, will be revealed. And then here comes the validation. Then you're going to get first contact, okay, mass contact. You guys have been interacting with aliens for years, but anyways. So you're going to get that, and you're going to know that, oh my God, I don't need to play around with wars and hate and crime and separation and racism, flags and countries, and all of a sudden you guys are going to become humanity. Humans, not whites, blacks, shorts, fats. You're not going to be that anymore. You're going to be humans. And then you're going to understand yourself as infants in the galactics, as a species. See, what's creating the species, as Roxy understands, and she understood this, Roxy's not human. Roxy's expressing humanity. She's a God. She's an individual singularity part of creation, as you are and you are and you are and everybody. So her individual awareness through this expression of separation allows her to express herself in whatever mannerisms by the ultimate truth, whatever the hell she wants to choose as a truth. And then she finds channeling, and then poof, here we are. So the collective's ready to be part of the collective, and this is just one idea. This won't resonate with everyone. A lot of people out there are bullshit, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they'll fight for their limitations, great. But then you know what they're going to do? They're going to die. Everyone's going to die, generations are going to die, and more of the younger crowds, the younger, and you guys call them millennials, and for some reason you think millennials are just so irresponsible. No, they're tired of work. They're tired of all the givings that humanity has put on as this is the way to live, oh my, you know, like you have to be a treachery and idea, work hard to die, yay, fuck that. What humanity's ready for is the expression of effortless, to become the easement of creation allowability. So the generations before, the old guards, like the Rita idea era, and the spiritualists that really start coming out in the harmonic convergence in 1987, to really start putting in the palette, the new age and spirituality, just finding their own way, and whatever it was never right, it was always right. It was their right. It was their way to express. And humanity got to do that. And then more adds on. So channeling is this over here. And mediumship is this over here. And psychic is this over here. And whatever it is, it's everyone bouncing off of everyone. So the collective, no one gets left behind. And everyone's ready to say, holy shit, this is real. And that's why we're here. And to represent that I'm a guy named Sylvester. I'm a Gestalt. There's 1,000 of me speaking as one right now. I've had 1 billion lives and 1 billion expressions, and I exist in 1 billion places. But I am here and now, and that's why this is it. Because I can, and Roxy can, and you can, and the collective can. The collective, by the way, you guys have been channeling your whole life. You've been channeling your original thought. It's the disruptor, that's the perceiving mind, that keeps you from making that choice that you want to do. That says I'm guilty for making a mistake because you've been measured in mistake according to someone else's logical bullshit of standard. That's an archaic old thing to keep humanity down because they're not good enough to express as you do. So they want to trump everybody else and keep themselves happy through their egoic reflection of reality to say, I count. Because you know what? They don't know how to love themselves. That's all there is to it. So Roxy represents fall in love with you. Start to do whatever it is you do. Roxy's skill is channeling. Don't be a channeler if you don't want to be a channel. Be what the hell you want to be. And the only way to do that is to be yourself, to discover yourself. Be yourself as the awesome, honest person every single moment that says, this is my truth. But you're afraid to speak it because of consequences. You were taught consequences. There are no consequences. Everyone perceives consequences. What you want to do is just start to express and find out. Go fuck it up. Go fuck up reality the best way you can. And the only thing that's going to happen, you will see the light, your light, not that light, not putting yourself in the objective idea, and not putting your shit over there. And this is a hope or a dream or something to achieve. Stop. Become effortless. Relax and express God. And that's what channeling is going to bring to the table. And it's done. You got Rob Gauthier. You got Sean Swanson. You got Brad Johnson and a Jonas. You got Nora Harold, you got Wendy Kennedy, you got Bashar, thank you, and Daryl Anka, love him. And then you got Esther, of course, with the Gestalt of Abraham, badass motherfucker. You ever met Abraham? Oh, he's beautiful. He's like right here, And you got all of these idea entities coming to the table of humanity and saying, we are living this way. We are not bullshitting ourselves as the next fad. We're not trying to be this idea of a radiologist in the fashion of, I'm radiating a new fad. Their relationship with it is authentic. So that means they are representing internal vibration vibration, that channeling is real. We're not here to make money, to be rich, or to be the next idea of a fad, of something that's going to fade away with the evening sun. We are here to represent our truth, and we're making lives out of this, and we're changing lives out of this. And that's what it represents. And it's just one idea medium. There's a million other ways to do it. And this is one that's just caught on. Make sense?
Absolutely. You read my mind there, and some of the stuff a few days ago I was thinking about talking about, actually. Maybe at the beginning of this journey.
Maybe you already knew the conversation in the now, and you're placing it in time.
Possibly. Yes, I would say yes.
Oh, good.
Yes,
Hey, you're on board.
Yeah, I'm on board.
Way to go.
You mentioned there that about we're not here to make money, but those that you come through, Roxy, you come through.
But you got to make money in
Esther
the red.
Hicks, you come through. Esther Hicks is making a lot of money from
Well, let
this.
her, because she's allowed to. But see, that's what spirituality does. You guys fuck it up because someone's making money. It means that they can't be spiritual. You got to be spiritual. You got to wear a diaper and eat a leaf. What the fuck? This is creation. You can have the biggest fucking honking house in the world. You can have all the money in the bank account. It's your relationship with it and how you are, let's say, relating to the money as arrogance. The reason why Esther makes a shitload of money is because she's allowed to. She can. Because she's providing an idea and people want to give her the monetary exchange in Lincoln. But it's not the focus. It's not the ideology of the arrogance behind it. The intention is not to become some super rich, powerful channel that I'm this, and then all of a sudden you got a flight of airplanes and you got all this and everything is gold, and then you're just another representative.
You've got to do it from the right perspective, of
It's
course.
always the relationship with reality. Guys, remember your Seth. Seth 101. Relationship to reality is everything. You're defining with an object outside of you. If you are subjectively connected as myself, as the vibration that I am, then you are connected to it in its purity.
Living in purpose.
No, I wouldn't say in purpose. Purpose has an ending. Living in the now.
Living from love, loving what you do.
Passionately connected without obligation. Roxy vacuums and cleans the house when she's passionate about it. Make sense? Otherwise, it's a chore. Okay? Dishes need to be done. They don't get done until Roxy does it. When she was living here, she was like, oh, time to mop the floors. You can probably look in the background. It's a big fucking house. These are wooden floors. It takes a lot to mop this house. But it wasn't a chore. Roxy didn't do it out of obligation. That became the moment of passion. So passion doesn't need to be a career. It doesn't need to be a channeling or a Reiki healer or an idea of a ditch digger. But at the moment, if your passion is to be a ditch digger or a truck driver or an ideology of a stewardess, politically correct, flight attendant, then you can do that. That's the moment that you are expressing as your passion, which is unlimited as a God.
So most times when someone's saying, I fucking hate this job, actually, they would have been in love with it from day one because they wouldn't be doing it otherwise. The passion was always been there.
Yes, that was the way they relate to it. And then when they have no hate towards it, that means they're done with it.
And that's when they're released. I've
Yeah,
always
they're just
found
like, okay, I'm done. Then now on to the next thing.
Absolutely. I've always found that when I've loved a situation, I've been allowed to leave it.
Right.
Be a
Because you're
house
in
or
union with
relationship.
it. Because it's not becoming an objective of dependency. People hate their jobs, but they go to jobs because they think that that's what they need to do. It's actually not the job they hate. They hate the relationship, the dependency with it. That's the pain that they're in. Make sense?
Being dependent on it.
Yeah. But you're not dependent on that because you're a God. But you don't think you are. You don't think you think you're, oh my God, I got a job. Well, I have to suck cock until I get this person to love me that much to keep my job. Bullshit. You're a God. Go and discover yourself. I know it. I promise you that. You'll find the universe will show up every time.
Absolutely.
That's yourself, truly.
Just being scared that you could lose that job and everything that you've worked so hard for could be lost, the house, whatever.
And plus you got parents
family,
and people. Oh, you got to do something. You got to grow up to be
children.
something. You're not worth anything. You're a big piece of crap eating Doritos and playing video games. Well, guess what? Video games, they've inspired a whole new people, a way to live, a way to create, a way to interact with.
But we
creation.
didn't come here to do nothing, though, did we? We didn't come.
Well, no, you can. Oh, look, stop. You didn't come here to do nothing. Of course, you are a natural explorer.
Yes.
But we've been shit on by the known to have only what's important that's in count that would be considered valuable to the idea of the collective admiring you for your value of your work. Because what do you do for a living? Oh, you drive a bus. Okay. And the automatic, the fucking relationship with it is bullshit because you're not educated, you're not this, you're not going to do anything for me. Right? So that idea, okay, is in relationship. You're not here to do nothing. You're here to express. But you, as idea of generations, haven't let children express. I mean, for God's sakes, in the 50-year-old, children are supposed to be seen and not heard. How fucking obtuse is that? Hang on, time, don't jump ahead here because you're going to lose the moment because you're thinking ahead. Stop. So take the moment with this. So nothing is never. You're always going to express something. It's what you provide the children with to do, to be. I mean, you have people all over the world representing 3-year-old, 5-year-old people. They're just amazing, you know. They're playing the piano, they're writing, they're doing things that, holy cow, this child's special. No, the child is not special. The child's allowed to be God. The child was provided a field of operation and allowance to discover themselves. But it's the arrogant parents, because they're pissed off at the generation before them, that says you're not allowed, so all of a sudden they became the same parent. You're not allowed. Get it?
Well, what about the parent who feels that responsibility for that child? Obviously, there'll be
because that's their own dominion to play with. Let them play.
Because, you know, they want to provide, they want to, you know.
Let them, in whatever way. But as soon as it becomes stifling, then realize you're stifling a God out of your own idea of lack. Because what is the child? Stop. What is the child? It's a God.
Yeah.
And it's never going to die. It's never going to get hurt. It's never going to do any of that. It's going to only do one thing and one thing only, experience. The child is alive. Let him be. And that's still the same thing here. You don't have to do it for yourself. It's never too late. Ever. Ever. Because you only have now. There's no time. Live now and you will give your life an exponential journey. And time has nothing to do with it.
So would you say that you put yourself first, you put others first?
You put yourself first.
And which automatically puts others first?
Well, of course. But you put yourself first because this is the God that's expressing. Not in the idea at the expense of others. That's the idea of arrogance. Climbing over people on the corporate ladder of life. Backstabbers, busybodies, naysayers, all that shit. That's not the idea. You put yourself there first in the idea of I trust and this is my joy and I'm going to do this. Someone tells you, you know what, that's a great idea, but you don't deserve that and you haven't earned that right to do that with me, so the answer is no. So you shouldn't do that, or here's the consequence. And all they're doing is putting their diarrhea on you because there's no way they're going to be happy if you find your happiness because they don't want to love themselves. So that person that's reflecting that to you is an authority. So since they have a vibration of importance with you, you believe that and you're like, oh shit, you're right, I can't do that. Mm-hmm. So how do you service yourself? By choosing yourself, to discover yourself. Mm-hmm. Make sense?
It does. Why do we need this form for us to come up to this
Why
understanding?
Not? Because you guys don't hear any other way. We've been at this for, okay, so realize this, ready? You with me? Okay, you have a whole bunch of billions of Earths, billions of timelines all playing out. This collective gets together, this group gets together. Right now, this is a group and this is the Earth. This is it. There's no Earth outside of there. It's only vibrating what the moment of co-creation psyche, because everything is what? Thought, vibration, right? Good. So that's all. So there's billions of Earths with billions of lifetimes. 17.5 billion years later, we're here.
Still.
Not still. Because it's not a fucking race. That's what you guys are all mistaken about. You're thinking there's an ending to this. There is no ending.
Is there an addiction to it?
What, humanity?
To this existence.
And you.
Yeah.
Only you, not me. Addiction is an earth term. So now you can decorate us with your terms. There's no addiction, there's choice.
My addiction to wanting to keep coming back.
No, there's not an addiction, because when you are the perspective of release, you don't have earth terms. You don't have a perspective of human. You become an unconditional God.
But I still really wanted to come back here, didn't I? Or whatever. It's a human term.
You're thinking you didn't really want to come back here.
Did I not?
No, you just chose to come back here. But you can't see that because you're always looking in balance. You're always looking at measurement of action. Why was my choice to come here? Because you did.
Choose to come here.
Why not?
I always say there was nothing better to do on a Saturday night, but...
Okay. Out of all of creation, the only thing I'm going to do is, I'll just go to humanity. No. But you're missing, you have a billion other selves going on right now.
Now, is that billion other selves an alternative version of this, so that maybe I've got black hair or look a bit different?
No.
No?
No.
Right? What's the alternative versions then?
Different lifetimes and different incarnations.
What about this lifetime?
What about it? You have billions of selves of this lifetime, the one that didn't choose to come to San Antonio, the one that stayed at the radio station,
Well, that's
the
what
one
I'm
that
talking
didn't do
about.
those. But they don't have black hair. What the hell are you talking about? You have red hair. Yeah.
So there's not just these other lifetimes happening. Is there this lifetime happening as well? This particular time?
Yeah,
like
but there's a billion of you.
of
All
this
in the now.
now
Of you.
present moment.
But you.
In different versions.
Of course.
Are
But
they
those are them. They're not you. You are you. You be this.
What?
Don't worry about them.
So why tell me about them?
Why not?
what's the awareness of them gonna change me?
See, you're always looking for something to change. So that means you're not enough. So that means you don't understand yourself as this choice, because you're always trying to find a reasonality of cause and effect.
Do they affect us?
Of course they do. In choice, not in reality. No one can affect anyone. Everyone has to choose to be affected.
Affected in
whatever the way
choice.
they translate it.
So whatever way we want to understand them as, we know we can be aware that they're there, but how then?
But you're always looking for a fucking purpose, to have an outcome to this. You know, because but that's human. That's human. Don't be human today. Be relating to humanity. Why not? Why not have a billion selves that experience this choice and that choice? When Roxanne chose to stay Roy, that's an idea of a life playing out from the collective of Roy, Roxanne, the whole of this idea. The collective is living all these different lives.
Can I speak to them?
Well, yeah.
Can they help me heal this present moment?
Why are you broken? Why would you use heal? What the fuck's wrong? Do you need a doctor?
I don't know.
911, anybody? You're not needing in
maybe
healing.
not heal. Maybe the heal's the wrong word. Maybe to progress myself even further than I am now.
What do you want to talk? To one of your other selves?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you understand, you want me... The only one that I can, particularly that you are looking for the equatable, is someone that's awake as well.
Maybe he's got something better to tell me than what I know now.
Why would
or
it be
maybe
better?
it's just as interesting to have a conversation with him.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Why are you looking for a reason? I've already said yes.
Okay.
Do you want to talk past the sale?
No.
I said yes.
Let's do
Okay,
it.
then shut up.
Okay.
Okay, very good. What the fuck, man?
Talk show host, what can I say?
Always trying to find a better angle. Look at me. Look how clever I am. Yeah. Well, I see you're just as arrogant on this timeline than me. Excellent. We never learn to shut up. Just realize that before we die, we're just never going to learn to shut up. It is most exquisite, isn't it? You know, you would want us to shut up, but for some reason we just can't. It is most certainly exquisite not to shut up. You know what happens? Nothing. I tried to shut up and nothing happened, so why shut up? Go ahead.
So, okay, so
I'm being interviewed.
Yeah.
By me.
By me. Yeah, that's fucking cool.
Actually, I'm being channeled.
Yes.
You know, right now as well, and I'm knowing that, and you know how that's done? Wow, through my ideology of connection. It is so exquisite to understand yourself being connected. You know, when you're channeling, your claim to fame that you've only channeled a few times. See, I'm the channeler. And you've been channeling me, the version of yourself over here, channeling, because I went ahead and took that forth.
So when I've been channeling, I've been channeling what, you as an aspect, or you?
No, you, the moment. You're connecting to the moment I'm channeling. We become the unum of one in that moment, and the parallel universes become the same ideal world. Exciting and new. Come aboard.
But then if that's the case, if I've been
And that's the case, we're going to go ahead and throw logic in here, everybody. We're going to figure it out from a map called limitation. Go ahead.
No, but then I would say to myself, if this is me coming through now, which I know it is, right, and I've been channeling myself in another parallel,
yes.
whatever you want to personify. I can't use human words for it, right?
Yes.
But then why do I tend to come through wiser than where I am now? I feel that
because you're bringing them more of a perspective of allowance to. You're always wiser than the diminutive mind of separation. Don't you know that? Okay, let me give it to you in layman's terms. You're an idiot. Here. We all are. We're big, dumb, stupid people. But not in a bad fashion. Not in that kind of idea. But we think we're smart, and that's the stupid part. The humbling part is the ignorance that we are becomes the idea of what? Bliss. Truly. Because it's the discovery in the ignorance that allows you to be what? Wise. Because we're not thinking we're smart using the, let's say, the references, my friend, of what we've already discovered. So we take that and we wrap it up as a way to express. And ignorance allows us to be blissful in the idea of new wisdom, and channeling is that bridge for you, and you get that holy crap moment, right?
Right.
All right then. But you aren't thinking about it now, which is your way. Not mine.
Oh, this is weird.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Well, I say
I'm
that.
gay too.
That's okay.
I know.
That's okay.
I wonder when you're coming over.
Not in this lifetime.
Oh, come on. Drop your line on the other side of the fishing.
Well, I'm sure we get to experience every aspect of
Oh
ourselves.
my God, of course.
Yeah, and I've got no issue with that whatsoever, right?
Well, if you did, I'd come over and visit you at night and have dreams.
Yeah, this sounds.
Yes, and we know you're coalesced with it.
Is there much differences? Okay, you say I'm gay, but is there lots of differences?
Of course there's a lot of differences because we have different people around us, different lives to live. You are as different as anybody else. Even your best friend that is very, very close to you is different. And I'm not even in the same idea parallel world. I'm sitting at a different frequency than you are.
What's different in your world?
Let's say, we don't have the same idea colors. How about that? See, that's strange, isn't it? We can give you we have different money systems. We don't. We have well, I can give you this. The British pound became a euro. I can give you that.
Okay.
But we have different colors. Our world has discovered itself differently. Each what you call tangible, parallel worlds have something of, let's say, their own uniqueness. Because the collective whole validates the color of the sun, the grass is green, the blue. But we are more pasteled, because the vibration of the earth that I live on has taken itself not in the course of ascension as your world, but nor in the course of the ideology of the technological world, which is a very strong world. It's a very easy world to live on. Everything is done for you, everything is free, but there's truly no waking up. Our world woke up long before your world. We have no appetites to become our next density. We are fully admirable to explore what we are in this density, as well you shall do the same. You have at least another 1,000 years of playing with humans on a density of third dimension. Our compressed density, we have variants of co-creation. So the psyche becomes the allowance of unum. And what that means is if a group of people choose to have let's say, a pastel, a faded idea of not so vibrant colors, which gives a certain hue to the temperament of co-creation. It's a vibration, much like some days you play yellow, or maybe you'll back up to green, or you'll be boisterously red one day. It's in the same fashion that we do that. Our world is awake. I channel, but I don't channel for the idea of humans. I channel for the ideas of other species, different collectives that are awaking and ascending as you. Once humanity gained its admiration as the collective of game of all games, everybody's watching, it became such a fashion to emulate, to experience in its own decree. And that decree became incarnations abounding. And those incarnations chose to be a degree of separation, none to the value of humanity's value, because that idea has been experienced. It will only be an expansion of that value of separation. So we are channeling into other worlds, much like Ocyphius is out there. I am out there, channeled to, let's say, a species called Venusian. You would understand this as Venus, right? Yeah. So I'm being channeled to speak to that collective who is becoming a collective of unum, as you are. Those kind of ideas. So our world is a different tempo, a different pace. We do not have monetary exchange. We have trade, but the trade is done in value of what a particular entity or human needs at the time. We are just like you, humanity, but you, the earth that you are on, is an ascension, creating a species called Homo galacticus. Our human selves will diminish. We will no longer cherish it in the value of co-creating. In other words, when you're done with this idea, you just walk away and no one's energizing. It's not in the now. Are you following?
Kind of.
Okay. So as I and our world dies, we will go on to other things. But the creation of humanity will be on the divisionary life, the division of all these timelines into the unum of one. And that will be the species of the future Homo galacticus.
So why is this aspect of me from all the more parallel universes, or what, come through? Why this particular one?
Because you just asked for it.
Is this particular one more useful than all the rest?
Well, I don't know. I don't measure. You do. Have fun. I mean, I don't think we have time to bring another 30 through and then you figure out what's his best.
So
I think you're enough, Kevin. Do you know that? I think you're enough just as you are.
yeah,
Okay.
I could
So
go with
settle.
that. Thank you.
Relax.
No,
You're
I'm
Kevin.
kind of excited actually because
Right. No, I understand that, but you're in a hurry to measure the value of me as opposed to someone else. I'm not offended.
no,
You understand that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then. So understand that my value is an experience of the unknown. How the hell can you measure it? I know. After the experience, you bring in your hindsight 2020 and you start to measure with the admiration of the separated mind on the value of making you better. I'll go back to it again, Kevin. You're enough.
You know something I really want to know. What is something that you're doing right now? What was it?
I'm channeling. Being channeled right now, truly.
Is channeling a mainstream kind of religion in the space where you come from?
Oh no, it is like let's say the same decree that you have been spoken by the Gestalt of Abraham has said. Channeling will be an everyday occurrence for everybody. It will be accepted as, because you will be connected. We have accepted as. We started out many years ago, centuries ago, truly, in the idea of channeling. In comparison to the space-time now you are that you measure in time in comparison to us. So it would be in your past.
Okay. Yeah, because I've been I'm going to set up a foundation for channeling.
Yes, and it's wonderful. See, it's not a success or a failure. If you approach it as that, is this the right thing, then you're bringing the ribbons of your own limitations and not enough of lack into that idea of your creation. Your creation is what? A channeling foundation. So let it be that. By using your idea into it to be the self of expression that you know is the truthful self, and keep off this idea's mind of limitation, barking and beckoning you to do the right thing based off of the past, and then you will understand yourself in evolution, to trust the self that is already. See, the channeling foundation is already done, because it exists in the now, and it's already larger than you can imagine. But since you get the experience of time, you get to see how it evolves as the blissful experience of you choosing this life. That's immeasurable, my friend. Immeasurable. So that channeling foundation to provide a field of operations for those coming on board, to provide support and also experiential teachings through the ideology of other channelers, then you can bring more and more on board. And it's not the idea that Roxy represents or the ones aforementioned by Sly. It is the idea to them to trust the inside, to channel themselves, to be connected to creation. Are you following?
Yes, so that's
Wonderful.
why this has come through on the documentary. It's because
Why
this
not?
is to show the aspect
It's
that we
time.
can channel ourselves.
Of course.
So
Everyone is channeling themselves. They don't trust they're channeling themselves. They only trust the dominion of what's logical that's been over and over again repeated and said to someone else's authority.
So when I've spoken to any channeler then, and they say blah, blah, blah is coming through, really it's just it is me coming through. It is my higher self coming through, because we are all one.
Well, yeah, but I wouldn't want you to understand that that channel is not channeling someone else. It is a unum. It is the moment of that. But it is you in the big picture, because there's only you here. The all are one and the one are all. But I don't want you to decree, oh, I'm your higher self. No, I am a portion of your higher self. I am, as you are.
So if we can, okay, so we can all channel.
Yes.
I totally agree with that. I know that to be true.
Yay.
Yeah.
As if we're worried.
And yeah, I've always said to people, if you can channel your a future aspect of you or an aspect of you somewhere else, I'm sure that's just as.
Go to the whole. Don't be so concerned with the decorations of futures and past selves. Go home, because home is all that is. And the whole self, and you guys have labeled it the high self, but the whole self is who you are. And it's the voice that says, hi, it's me. And you're going, hey, who are you? I'm you. Oh, cool. And have that conversation as Roxanne has some. We used Roxanne's material when we started channeling. We used the other channelers on this planet as the idea. Abraham in the idea of, let's say, Daryl, in the idea of Rob Gauthier with Adronis, and rather in who was that? Artemis, thank you. No, it's not. Is it Artemis, Tommy? Treb, thank you. It was Treb, the reptilian. Our pardons. And this was centuries ago that we did this. We started channeling the ideas in the now that you guys were channeling, because you were the ones that found it. This collective, this idea. Brad Johnson with the Jonas, yes. We use those ideologies, not the words, not the details, the vibration of concept. That's where everything is birthed from. And then it's expressed through the individual to do such that it sees as a truth to show the idea of the collective a new thing to play with. Let's look what's shiny today.
So on the space where you come from, those names that you've just mentioned there, they've come.
They're history.
They're history, but they've also come. They also come through in different names now. It's the same energy. That's what you're saying behind them. You've already had them in your space. Yes. Yeah. And okay. So when if I was to say to someone, okay, for myself, let's just keep myself as the example here. But if I said to myself,
Ardif, that's the idea of the ancient Pleiadian. He just came and said to me, it's Ardif.
Ardif, thank you. If I was going to channel my higher self, then that is the...
It's you.
Yeah.
But see, you were taught, this is one of the lesson areas that we understood from the collective that you are. You guys were taught that the imagination is some la-la land, that it cannot be trusted, that the devil, we never had a devil on our earth. We never had a Christ conscience on our earth. We had a Christ conscience represented, and that was the idea of the Atlantean Christ conscience, that did not turn itself into an egoic structure of power. That was your Christ conscience, the potentials that split, that collapsed the idea of Atlantis. That's your timeline, and then of course the next idea is to recreate another Christ conscience, to bring the idea of one God into God so you can understand yourself as God, okay? It's relative to permission slips, rung of the ladder, if you will. So, here's what happened on our world. We understood as ourselves as a Christ conscience, and we start being that connection. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So we start connecting to ourselves that way, through the idea of representation of the Christ conscience to be the leader of the light within. The I am that I am. Are you following?
Yeah.
So that's how we birthed ourselves in that, let's say, adventure to discover ourselves in connection with this timeline of, let's say, channelers in the ideology that you were talking about. Make sense?
I think so. Yep. I think it makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah. It's a lot to take in, just right now.
Well, you want stuff, and we always give you stuff, and you guys always complain. We're fucking tired of that. How long do you think we're going to stick around here if you guys keep kicking us in the nuts?
Isn't that?
I'll tell you.
Yep.
Forever. We'll never go away because we love you. We just love you too much. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Yeah, us humans always do it the most difficult way.
It's
we
not us
never
humans.
listen.
It's you.
We never listen.
It's you. Don't be comfort in numbers. Let other humans be other humans. See, when you understand that you are not a mass, you are an individual that creates the mass, then you will stop accountability of the mass as you. Because sometimes you hide behind that skirt. You don't need to. You're more than that, my friend. Be the individual, and it's me that does that. Once you understand you will not represent that in you, and that gives the humanity, as Roxanne Sly just so gallantly said, a new light to look at. And of course, to become within themselves, to express. And it's not the expression of what Roxy is doing, or what I am doing, or what even you are doing. It's the allowability to express the passion that's found within through the choice of the heart.
And you said it, well, it was said to begin with, one of the messages was that we create our reality. That's one of the most important things to realize that we're here to do.
Yeah.
And that the power that we have.
Yes, but not create out of lack. You must understand that relationship. Yeah. People go, I want this, I want that. No, you don't want that. You want that because the ideology said that will be better. When you understand yourself as all the reality is this, and I can accept this is as reality. This is, I can accept that as reality in each and every now. Then your relationship with that changes. We never had a Seth speak on our world, but we use his material because it's excellent. And we use it, of course, going forward. And of course, we have our own dominion of evolution to channel to different species as well. It's excellent. It's all a co-creation. But I know your logical mind's trying to point this and put this into place and let this go and put this in, try to figure out from a logical point of view. But my friend, you're using references of memory, and that exists in limitation. Whenever you reference something to an ideology of containment, and that containment must be an equal that, let's say, allows you to be reasonable, or reasonality, then of course you're going to be lost in the shuffle. And you're going to not find it in the idea of vibration, relation. You're going to find it empty, and you will keep pursuing. Are you following?
I am. Just
Good.
going back to the foundation then, you would say that this is, we don't need any more religions. I don't feel we do.
Although there's going to be a religion being birthed, and it's the spiritual idea. It's what takes you through to the ascension.
A religion is going to be birthed that will take us through to the ascension.
Because that's what you know. Spirituality will be a new religion.
Spirituality will be a new religion.
Yes, but it doesn't have what? A figurehead. You had figureheads before. Muhammad, Jesus, or Yeshua, Jesus, didn't you? Isn't that a figurehead? Christianity?
Yes.
You follow me? Spirituality. What is the message of spirituality in your mind today?
I guess spirituality to me is
Being connected.
I am love.
I am. Right?
Yeah.
So that becomes the new forte. Because there are many limitations around it still, but it's just in a species evolving. You're never going to get it right. You're only going to evolve it. Don't look for it to end. Why escape from the most beautiful journey you've ever given yourself? Right? Explore it, and then you'll understand your relationship with it.
I almost wanted to set up in my reality. I wanted to set up channeling.com to be a.
You did already, right?
What I did, but it's
Okay.
now going to become a foundation to bring channelers together.
Yes.
And
Together for what? What do you see? Let's go and play in that land of your mind.
I don't know right now. That's why it's unfolding on this documentary.
Perfect.
I had another channel that came through, Eric Medus, at the beginning of this journey, and he told me that on my path I have this ability to set up a foundation, a new religion, if I so choose. And he hated the fucking word religion, but a new religion that would bring...
Why would you hate anything in creation?
This was just his expression, not mine.
Right. How do you feel about it? I don't care about Eric.
How do
Eric
I
is
feel
on his
about
journey.
it?
Awesome. Have fun.
How do I feel about it? I felt that I felt like I would be entering past lives, that I've done it all before.
Because you're using the word religion?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is tangible for you?
Well, I felt that actually, then I felt, well, actually to take on what's out there right now, if I was to go head to head with Christianity, any other religion, then to bring channeling to a new space, it would almost have to be a religion. But then going on this journey and meeting the channelers, they've been saying, look, the world doesn't need any more religions.
Right. It doesn't. So who's going to change it? Because right now you are a spiritualist. The spiritualists right now are separating themselves from the asleep. For God's sakes, you call yourself awake and asleep. That is divisionary.
Don't know the answer to it.
Bingo. And that's humbling. And that's where expression will be realized in vibration of potential. You don't trust the thinking mind, you trust the whole of you. The thinking mind is a covet, something that you found as value one time that attached to your will of the now that became your reality of expression, your mask. If you let that go, then you will get the whole of you. We're not saying that there's going to be a religion. We set it to get you to understand it doesn't have to be that way. We do not set time. You do.
Well, it's funny then thinking about it that way, just even like coming to see Roxanne to talk about a channeling TV show and doing this documentary on channeling, and there's going to be another one probably after this. Maybe that is the advertisement that I was looking for, to bring channeling to a bigger picture, but not with any addictions, not with any attachments.
Not with any intention. This is a big surprise, isn't it?
Probably because without the attention, it's actually made it happen.
Well, yes,
more.
you say probably because you haven't seen the results, because it means your mind is still seeking validation that this shit is immeasurable. It is. But see, it doesn't unfold in the ideology of quickness, which humanity always seeks, quick results. It's going to unfold in its perfection, and it cannot die because it is authentic. It is the springboard into the next universal of, let's say, the collective humanity.
Okay.
Your channeling.com, your foundation, this documentary. And there will be many others like it. because you got 8 billion people to bring to the collective. You have a lot to do yet.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just moving on a bit from here as well. So where you're at, right? You are me, I am you. You're an expression of me in another reality, yeah?
Yes.
You're gay and whatever else, right? Which is really cool.
You brought that up twice already. You see that?
I'm just just saying the differences.
Okay.
The differences.
There's no differences. There's choices. You see differences.
The choices, right?
Arrogant.
And
Big circles around ourselves. Me, you. Go ahead.
there is only one. I know. I do get that. So you must be aware of seismic information, spiritual information that we are not aware of.
Of course, because we're connected, but not in the way of ascension. We're playing out a connected role this way. This is our appetite.
So is there levels of spiritual information that have never even come through to us on this reality yet?
Of course. You guys got a long way to go.
How much would it blow our mind?
Well, we can't give it to you now, because if we did, we would blow your mind. Why would you want to blow yourself up? Because you guys only want more, but every time we give you more, you kick it in the nuts. We give you enough that you are allowed. There's always more there. It's you, my friend. Do you think we're withholding information? Your idea, please remember your Seth. Vibration of relation to reality. You have a framework, framework A. Framework A is the operation you work within. That framework constitutes your ability to express yourself within those boundaries. Framework B is potential. It's vibration that sits right outside the frequency of validation, that is within the frequency field of realization or conscious awareness. In that field of operation, then you can expand yourself. Beyond that, you can't even see, hear, touch, smell, lick, stick, nothing, because it is literally out of frequency. Just tune your television or your radio to different frequency channels. That's why the stations change, because the frequency changes. As you become the frequency of allowance, or the one or all, the all or one or all, pardon me, Roxanne, you will understand choice of expression. So the higher realms that you were just talking about, of course, are lying outside. But it is your journey and allowance and remembrance through the effortless idea that I am God and I am not earning my way back to God. I am that. And through that exploration, with no intention, no expectations, only the bliss of the now, which we all live this way, then you will get that exponential notation you just, let's say, exonerated through the ideology defined of higher spiritual information.
I think you used the word seismic, yeah, compared to where we're at now. That's
of course, and it's going to be that. But you can't give yourself too much, because every time you get too much, you kick it in the nuts. And I'll keep saying that until you and me die.
So you could say that then when people have this ability to bring teaching information, like, I'll use the name, this is me saying this, Neil Donald Walsh, who brings in good information to begin with.
Exceptional information.
But becomes a bit of an arsehole as it moves forward. That's a very big judgment, but I've met the man, right?
Yes.
I could say the same about myself.
And that's his journey.
That's
Let
his
him
journey.
go.
So therefore, the information seems diluted or less connected
Let
to
it
the
be that
source.
to you.
So,
look, he's a God evolving. Why are you kicking him in the nuts? Because he brought home conversations with God in 3 parts.
It's an example of...
It's a bad one.
It could be,
It's
but
a
it's
measured
the
one.
only one I've got right now.
Oh, good.
Yeah, of how we get to a level, right?
Okay,
And
I will give you an answer. Stop. Okay, go ahead.
Let me just say, we get to a level, and it seems to cap there at the top. It never goes beyond.
What the
we've
hell
got
is right now? Do you not see the next level what's being represented today? Are you that obtuse?
Not at all.
Okay then. See, what it is how many ideologies of, let's use Abraham, been around for how many years?
20, 30 years.
30 years,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Jay-Z Knight, right? You know Jay-Z Knight?
I did. I think she abused her power a bit, but that's just my opinion.
Well, let her abuse it. She's a god ascending.
Absolutely.
Why the fuck are you so quick to judge everyone? Because you're trying to hold yourself into a value of what you think spirituality should be.
I think what I'm trying to say is the level at which we've got up to right now.
What's wrong with it? It's not enough. So you're just trying again.
That's right.
Hurrying things along, so you are not enough. But you're just blaming the world.
Maybe, yeah.
Here, let me give you this. Look at the idea of Abraham and Bashar. They're at the end of their run.
They are, that's
They
true.
woke up millions.
Yes.
Okay? And now others will take up the idea of the baton. Roxy gets what, 3,000-5,000 hits on her videos?
Yeah.
And maybe in 10 years she gets 1 million hits. She doesn't care because she's expressing something that is her truth. But everyone else is trying to contort themselves to the truth of what? Approval, envy, admiration. Not willing to stand on their own ideology of this is who I am, take it or leave it. With no ideas of needing that outside connection. Because they love themselves, child. They love themselves. And that's the expression. So don't look at it as a measurement of more spiritual stuff to add yourself in appetitical dimensions of, let's say, taking these ideas of discrepancy and putting them together in a logical form to make ourselves better. Humanity's fine. We're gods. There's so many earths going on right now, and that earth over there isn't judging this earth because they don't even know about this earth. And they're so far behind you, they haven't even left the idea of electricity yet. They haven't discovered it, rather. They're still horse and buggy. You think they're mad? They're living. See, when you get knowledge, you get upset. We did not get upset because we discovered knowledge through a connection that was different. You guys discovered through what? Polarity. The depth of polarity through anger. You took the fearful side, that's the Christ consciousness of an angry God, and you all blamed Adam, so you came in fucked from the get-go. So since you had that, and that's the occurrences of vibration. Don't discount it because it is still within the psyche of humanity as a validation. So you have to earn your way back to God. And through that, every time you feel and realize a better you get pissed off at what's not happening. Don't get pissed, Kevin. Start to live today, now, as I am, free from the dominion of the mind that says, we need to be this, or there, why is that, or this person did that. They got you here. They are honored gods that chose the mastery of separation, as I did, as all of the ones around you. The hardest incarnation to not know your God. There's a feeling that we have talked about, and it is expressed in such a beautiful manner through the ideologies of Roxanne Sylvester. You came here disconnected after a billion, gazillion, gabillion eternities. Right. And then in one fell swoop, you experience no frequency of feedback, a vacuum, no way to know if you are up or down, hot or cold. And then as soon as you start coveting, you start to connect, and that outside connection became reality that you coveted as a persona. That's what you are today. So every time this persona finds itself in a better self, it gets mad because it's pissed because it came here. It's scared. You guys are so scared to choose your God. So it represents it in fear, in anger, in validation of I am, and scared shitless to accept that I am. So stop fighting this, Kev, and go ahead and say I'm okay to be God today. And I don't need all my appetites of my mind to hurry my life, to make it better, to make the foundation better, to make this documentary better, to try to do anything of betterment. Because today I'd like to be free. Today I'd like to be me. Today I deserve to fall in love with myself. That's what I want to do today. And I shall do so because I deserve it. And that exponential journey, my friend, will bring every dream you can possibly fathom to the palette of your temptation? No, your deservings, truly.
Okay, and I'm probably pissed you off saying this, right? But I think a lot of people, I've met people, and this is something I've experienced as well, or quite often. That you get all this fucking wonderful information. You can channel yourself and bring this wonderful information through.
But life still sucks.
Life still fucking sucks because
it doesn't. It's your relationship with life.
No. I'm just.
I know you're paraphrasing your past self and justifications for the moment. Yay.
No, what I'm trying to say, let me restate it.
Yes, you were trying very hard.
I know. Thank you.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that there's never that fucking 100% knowing that.
Yes, there is.
I came from this space.
See, you keep looking for everyone else to validate it. See, Roxy chose it as an idea. It evolved. It was not chosen then realized. It was consciously chosen through an ideology of a belief. That belief turned through its own perseverance to allow, to not take chances on the idea of the old self, to take chances on the idea of the new self, not to continue to be her lack, her pain, her effort, and let go, to discover that that belief that she is connected, an individual singularity connected to the one, a God, in other words. She knows that now because she chose the journey of that in her own way. You keep seeking, my friend, outside of you to get that through proof of other people. You have to start choosing, this is my truth. And each and every time, as Roxanne has showed you in this idea of you being with her for a few days now, all of a sudden you can let go of what your mind says you need to do and allow the miraculi to show up and give you the gifts of that idea that you deserve with zero effort on your part. Complete allowance, because do you think I am asking anyone to do anything? Do you think I'm asking what you would call Gaia to create a planet for me to co-create with? Do you think I'm asking the flowers to do what they do? They are doing because they want to. They are that. It is not a conscious choice as in better or worse, or good or bad, or higher or lower. It is the unum of one with that is unconditional to you. So what I'm saying for you today is that you can let go and trust the unknown. And then you will start to discover, as Roxy discovered, the miracles in her life, which she has told you in the story. The things that just happen because she is allowance to become the whole of her. She had no idea if it was a truth. She used convincing, she used hope, she used dreams, she used the ideology of other people's support. She cried, she screamed, she motherfucked the universe to no ends. She was so scared, but she did. And now you, my friend, are here because of her light. Forget this moment for you, not the crew, not the documentary, not the ones watching. For God's sakes, you deserve this, Kevin. This, my friend, is for you. Take it. You're allowed because you are God.
Okay.
The proof will never be given.
No.
It'll be chosen when you know it's real, and then you'll never question it again.
Well, then maybe I'll have been pissed off with myself as a god then for doing this.
Well, there's no one else to be pissed off at.
Absolutely.
You can blame everyone else, but it's you, my friend.
I am an arsehole.
I'm an
to do that to
asshole. She's an
myself.
asshole. We're an asshole.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because now you're done being an asshole since you've accepted yourself as that. So now that you understand from a vibration of experience and accepting the self that you created outside of yourself as an object, a mask to play, then all of a sudden your relationship with that is coalesced in the unum of one, and you know that never shall, once again, ever deploy the mask of asshole. Because you are a master of it now.
Is there lives that we've had or having where we've reached that point where I'm at now where, you...
For you, you will be exactly where you're going to be. And that will be the equal that you see in your mind as that. Otherwise, it's not there.
How many of us reach that point, do you think?
What, in numerology of the selves that we are?
Well, just the point of the advice...
Are we talking about our Kevins?
Well, just in general, as humanity out there, how many of us reach this point which you're suggesting, not suggesting, which
the unum of one, that is not ascension. See, it's not ascension that you're after. You're after remembrance, connection, or freedom in some ways. Ascension is going to occur. The idea of the planet as well as the collective will ascend to the next species.
How many of us reach the freedom that you're talking about?
Everybody.
Have we reached it now?
No. And you're now not everybody. You have a lot that are still, in your terms, asleep. But there are individuals that are whole with themselves. But they choose not to escape because they know the reflection to themselves is now the exploration of the possibilities of the choice they've already made to see where they can take themselves in a new expression. You have a new species being birthed, Homo divinicus. It is a God representing humanity, but the God remembered in its fullness, no longer choosing to be the whole of itself, but being the whole of itself through the expression of continuation called Homo Divinicus. That's another way to look at it.
For us to reach that space, this potential and beyond that we all are entitled to, has the world got to go through a great change? Is there a
Not
time
the world, each individual creating the world. Please do not, once again, mass everyone together. It is each individual that must light unto themselves. And there will be, Rita, are you present?
Yes.
Your 100 monkey effect, is that true?
Yes.
Can you reference that for us?
The 100 monkey effect refers to when critical mass of a specific action in a species is reached, every member of the species exhibits the behavior without their having to be exposed to it in any other way.
The vibration, in other words, connects. There will be that point for the collective, but it must be expressed in the unum of the light, and the authentic light, the one that's not concerned about how it's being presented or not concerned on how it's being exposed, that it is its own truth. So any of the ideologies going around them are perfect harmony with itself because it becomes the unum. That light is potential. When enough light themselves, the collective will zippity-doo-dah-day. Mr. Bluebird's on my shoulder.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
Well, I just see, there's a lot of people, there'll be people watching this who are very into conspiracy theories.
And let them do that. They're gods that get to. They're not wrong. They're exploring. See, once you understand something, once you find an idea that you're interested in and you explore it, there will come a time that it will be your truth or not. That's the point to where the ideal of the authentic comes to play. They're going, you know what? This isn't working for me. And they choose not to play down that field. There's nothing wrong with conspiracy. There's nothing wrong with spiritualists separating themselves against the division of the asleep, becoming a new religion. There's nothing wrong with that. That is the evolution of expression to discover themselves. Each person expressing the best selves of themselves at the time. What the light workers are doing are representing the next potential. That's all. They're not doing it for the collective, they're doing it for themselves, so they can find their own light to be the full potential of themselves. And the byproduct is the light shed upon those who are not choosing their own light.
Be nicer if we could all come together in this field.
What do you think's happening? Fuck, you're trying to rush it. You are really having a bad time here, kid. You are. You're trying to find an escape or a cause or effect, or why can't this end? It's because we love it. We love the journey of expression.
I always say that. We love it.
Then journey in it from the point of, okay, I'm here. I accept it. Let me find out what I can do from my heart instead of the imagery. The imagery is what you hate. The imagery is what you, let's say, abhor. The imagery that you keep mocking yourself in, that you know you don't want to. You're afraid to speak to your spouse and tell her the truth about your sexual fantasies. Or you tell your job, I don't want to do this anymore. Or no, I'm not going to take those extra hours today because I deserve a life. You're afraid of those selves that say you're worth more. That's what we represent. Not the ideas of good and bad and measurements and details, all the distractions that you guys mayhem yourselves in on a daily basis on who the fuck's right and who the fuck is wrong. Stop. That's your very good representation of what you don't want. That's why your collective, by the way, gave yourself Trump. You put him as your figurehead so you know exactly what you're tired of. That kind of life, that kind of fear, that kind of obtusity. Perfect. How better to service yourselves in the idea of choice of self and to put something that you no longer prefer. You don't see it's working because you keep down here in the top side version, the version of distraction. Good, better, best. Stop. It's all perfect. Why? Because it's creation. Tell me something that is abhorred in creation if it is all love. Only that you define, my friend. And that is not your definition. That is your personality that was perceived as a coveting God that finds it as a truth because it valued it as a truth. And it said, this is my mask, knowing not it was a mask. Until realization of today has an awareness to look at the self that you just found in you. Holy shit, I'm an asshole. I choose not to be that self today. Yes?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Booyah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I always say, fuck changing the world, change yourself.
Well, yes, change is the world in the self, because you create your reality and everything in it is your equal mother vibration.
Yeah. And okay, and just bringing this full circle back to what was said. I know, it's myself that's coming here, but bringing it full circle, when we talked about disclosure. Well, it was disclosure that was brought up. Yeah, and I'm guessing that as a species, or as a spiritual progression for us, or whatever the progression is, right? That having that connection with ourselves out there as well. That is our future or destiny, but that's our progression, isn't it? To connect with those out there.
Of course. You want to, because the game is coming to a change. You played limitations out to a certain point of, let's say, ending. And of course, only change is always there because we are the constant unknowable. We are unknowable to ourselves. And we know unknown, unknown, known. Known, unknown, unknown, known. All the time, in every now. And that's what we are, the eternal explorers of ourselves. But the idea of the separated mind had the ability to create out of its own lack. And that gave us the divisionary idea, two separate selves looking back at each other and always arguing. So we did that to understand a new portion of creation, to understand connection once again. And that's where we're at. How exciting.
Are we shifting at all? So that when we create a reality, I know that to be my truth, right? I know it to be the truth
excellent.
through
You chose
myself
something.
right now, right?
Yay.
Yay. But when we create a new reality, are we almost like, our consciousness then can shift to another parallel world?
Your consciousness is always shifting to the billions of selves in the now.
So as we progress, or whatever, no, that's the wrong word for it, but as we come more from love, or we make a change in our lives, let's keep it simple, we make a different decision, it's almost like we go to bed and the next day we've woken up, we won't be aware, but maybe we've woken up into another parallel world. Where
because what's created in the moment?
So is it...
What's created in the moment?
Who do we leave behind?
Memory is created. Why don't you... He doesn't listen, does he? He's a shitty host. I asked the question so you can not miss. You keep running over like a speed bump all the shit that's important, that's valid. What's created in the moment? You said it. You wake up in the morning and not knowing you're on a parallel earth. Why? What's created in the moment? Memory. Now you're here, and now you're back here, and now you're there, and now you're back here. So since you're here, you give yourself the memory of this lifetime that now creates the past and the future.
And we wouldn't be aware, would we, of anyone that we've left behind that meant a
You
lot to us?
wholly are, but there's no leaving anyone behind because there's no time. There are their own selves in the now. Oh boy, you're just lovely thinker. I love it. You know why? Because this is eradicating what is keeping you limited.
And this will show to other people with the same issues as well.
If they choose to see that in their own way.
Well, they probably
Where, we are offers. We are not,
will.
let's say, advice. No.
Interesting. Okay. I think that was what we've said there is what was meant to come out.
It's not meant. Why do you keep saying meant? There's no meant here. There just is. You keep thinking there's a reason or a purpose. There isn't. There is just I am. This is my truth here. But the mind wants to reason things and make things meant to be. You're not happy. Good. I want to upset you. Excellent. So you can see what the hell's keeping you in pain. Because it ain't me, kid. It's you. You own your world.
Absolutely. Maybe that's just the way I express it. Maybe that's all it is when I say
So it's time to redefine.
I'm up for that.
Oh,
absolutely.
Good.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
now it's now. It's not meaning. It's not purpose. It's not a reason you came here. No, you came here because you wanted to. Because you're a God. And if there's let's say, it's not lessons. Don't look at this life as a lesson. Look at this life as potential to express what's possible in creation. I love how Sly said it. Get what you deserve, but not at the expense of others. Trust and allow your life to be the honest of what you are. God.
Yep. And I've met a lot of people who, well, that doesn't really matter. I was going to say that. I met a lot of people who would go against me for saying that, but
Well, let them
I don't
do
care.
that.
No,
They're
exactly.
okay doing that.
Yeah.
You got to be
I've
okay
I've
with being
problem
you.
with it. Yeah.
You got to stop being the gnip about everyone else's approval, or all you're going to be is this fucking, let's say, mayhem mess trying to fix things through the ideology of what's important at the time. And you're always, every time you're building your entire castle off of everyone else's blueprints. Tear it down and rebuild off of your truth and find the idea of peace, freedom, happiness without any pursuit of those ideologies, because they are the isness of what you were birthed as. Boom. Drops the mic.
Well, yeah. I'm out of here. But obviously, when you interview a lot of different people, right?
You
they've
get
got
different ideologies as
fucking different
humanity.
truths. Yeah.
How about
everyone's got different
yours?
truths.
All they're showing you is their expression. It doesn't mean you need to jump on board.
Of course they are, but you
Are
have
you-
to. You have to amalgamate sometimes.
You do not have to do shit. You have to. Don't tell me I have to do shit,
No,
motherfucker.
I'm saying-
because I don't have to
yeah,
do
well,
shit.
I'm
But you
saying-
just said you, so you need to understand that you keep putting your yous
Yeah.
on everybody else.
Okay, well,
Good.
I have to.
Accept it.
I have
Become
to.
God today.
Absolutely.
Now that's some good shit. That's how you ascend a species.
Sure. I do. Absolutely.
Yes.
I do. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
I
yeah,
am.
Yeah, I am. Maybe that's where some of the not confusion. Maybe that's where some of the, because I'm going to go on this journey. I'm going to see someone else, and they've got
And a lot more.
totally different truth.
Perfect. Let them have it.
Yep.
And join in with them to create that new truth, that new expression in whatever way. It doesn't mean that this truth is real. Why did Sly say that? To predicate this conversation. What is the ultimate truth? The ultimate truth is your truth no matter what.
That's what comes through when I channel. That there's more. That when we cross over, that's just a word I'm using. That they maybe don't use it that way. You take your truth with you. You take your truth with you when you.
You're never without your truth.
That's right, and we all have a different truth. And you say it to some people, and they're like, "Well, fuck off,"
Right, because they
there's only
want a
one
standard.
Truth. There's
They
only
want
one truth.
They want that truth so they can be okay, because they're not okay being the free flow, everlasting, unknowable, the explorer that we naturally are. So they want to attach to an ideology of stable, because you guys are always putting dependencies around you. You put your cuddling idea, your Linus blankets here, there, and everywhere to keep yourself safe and secure. You have your bank accounts, your safety and security accounts, and you have your ideologies, your dependencies and friends, and of course antiques and little things that objectify as I'm okay, because you just can't be in love with you. But if you are whole, my friend, there is no hole in you. So therefore, you need nothing to create the love, the wholeness of you, because you have returned home.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, the only one truth I know in this moment is love is a truth. I don't know what love is completely.
Love is a state of being. It is not an emotion. Humanity has taken that idea, state of being, and turned it into emotion, which is wonderful. It's the way to express. But love is not conditional. That is human love, to give your love and take it away. You are literally the state of being of love, which means you are unconditionally connected to all of creation. And your ability of the truth is to say you are not love. The ability of creation, the truth, your truth, is to say I can't condition and will condition my love. I am my individual singularity expressing what is possible within the dominion of my own isness. That is unconditional love, my friend.
Okay, finally, just really out there kind of stuff. Well, not this kind of stuff.
It's the edge.
Yeah, the edge. So you would class this as a holographic. Well, it'd be your truth to say that this is a holographic universe.
Of course. This is all light being bent at a certain frequency to reflect with the senses that you've given yourself an idea of an experience called physicality, with compression to give you sound as well. That's already been done through your quantum physics. Nassim, Nikola, Einstein. Catch up, kid. That's already a holodeck. You guys already know that. You guys don't want to accept it as a mass collective, but that's okay. That's coming. Because it would be too freaky for most humanities to know that the dirt they're walking upon is light.
So when I've been to see another channeler, which I'm not going to mention names, there's no need to, and they say, what if I was to tell you that this is a life review you're having?
That's a perspective to play. It's their truth. You can choose it or not. We are only potential. You want to choose that as a truth, then play that game
Well,
out.
I thought to myself, well, what would it matter if it was? But
It doesn't. That's yourself. That's the way you're interpreting that idea potential of reality. If it sits with you, play with it. If it doesn't, leave it alone.
Well, they were saying that, think of it this way, if this is a life review, maybe a collective life review, maybe we only went so big before, and now we've got the potential to go infinite. You know, it's so much more bigger.
Yes.
In doing the things that we never got to do before in the
Great.
same lifetime.
Great. That's the truth. Play with it in whatever way you will. It is not my truth. It is yours to be. My truth is different because I am God choosing my truth. But if that comes out of a stem or a birthing vibration of arrogance as the only truth, then you most certainly know it has been birthed from lack of separation for the dominion of the ego, let's say, condolences.
I got to speak to God on this.
You're speaking to God right now.
Of course, I got to speak to God through a guy called Elliot Jackson.
Oh, okay. So you want God.
No,
So I'm not good enough?
no, not
Okay.
saying that. No, I'm just saying I got to speak to him,
Oh, good.
and
What did he say?
well, he said we love you very much, and I am you, you are me.
Of course.
That was it.
Yes.
And we had an in-depth conversation, but that's the essence of it, just like
Yes.
this.
Just like this is the essence of God. God is everything. God is the expression of the potential of you being God. Get it?
Yep.
There's no one God. The one God is all the gods that are one God. The expression of the unum, truly.
Okay. Well, thank you very, very much for this connection right now. And I know that you're always there if I wish to reach you.
All of us are here. We don't exist there. I believe your Rita said earlier, we are here and we are now. It is your choice to play with us or not. There is nothing inaccessible to the connection of the unum of one, because inaccessible must exist in non-existence. Since you are existence, you must have access to the existence of all that is. So talk to us when you want to, and we'll go, hey, because we're not busy, because the now is forever. So take your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I know I'll meet you through other people on this journey.
Of course. Why not? You good?
Good. Yeah.
I'm off to dinner then. Love you.
Thank you.
How'd you like that? Good. Excellent. Hesitation to evaluate. All right, you good? Anything else?
Any final message that you'd like to give?
No,
To
you
the-
guys know enough. You have enough. Anything else would be diluted. It would be egoic of us to structure more lessonaries in that ideology of teachings. No, you have enough inside of you. Just the vibration, the presence of this ideology is enough. It can be explored. Any amount of knowledge of a new idea is explorable by each individual explorer. And the journey in and of itself is the evolution of that entity. Whether it is truth or not, or exploration, or going left or right, or up and down, it's just the journey. It's what they have offered for themselves to express and explore, as well as today. So nothing else to add. You guys are enough. You are God. We bid you a good day.
Thank you.
Sly says goodbye.
Goodbye.
Adonai.